All righty, guys. It is once again that time of the week. We are here. We are the MCT podcast, as I hope you know by now, if you've been following our almost 30 episode journey so far. Hey, want to give another quick shout out to Craig of 3C Media for once again giving us this opportunity. This has been a lot of fun to get to do this pretty much each week. And, with two of my best friends here, Michael Robinson and Tade Manukian as well. So thankful for you guys. Thankful for Craig again. There was opportunity, and I'm giving thanks just because this is one of the days that is not great. It's definitely tough to come on here and do this podcast. As you guys are well aware, as everybody should be well aware, I'm a big Cubs fan, and I can't lie. I think this is the most brutal day in at least in my Cubs fandom history. This is worse than the 100 loss seasons. This is worse than, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty shaken up when they traded Starlin Castro. Today's got nothing, like this has nothing on that. That makes that look so minuscule because it was rough. We'll get into all of it. But yeah, so this is going to be an interesting episode. This might be one of the few times you'll see me take a bit of a back seat because I don't know if I got it tonight. I am emotionally drained. It's rough. It literally feels like a massacre. Like it feels like I watched a slaughter. And it's just tough. But on a much brighter note, I want to point out we were off last week because we were all in attendance of that man over there's wedding. So congratulations once again to Mr. and the newly Mrs. Robinson, Michael and Raven Robinson. So congrats. That was awesome.
I was going to have her say hi, but she just walked out the door.
Thanks again for throwing the wedding and inviting us and letting us be a part of it. It was a great time. I had a lot of fun. That cake was so good.
Hey, that was all Raven's idea.
Listen. When I tell you a cake is good, y'all know that cake is, because I don't eat cake. I do not like it. Michael, I want you to understand, I wasn't going to eat cake at your wedding. I was like, I don't want it. I do not want it. Somebody's grandma, I don't know, handed me a plate with a piece of cake on it. And I was like, I can't say no. Sure. I was like, I can't say no to this nice lady just putting cake in front of me. So I was like, well, I guess I'm eating a piece of cake. And then I ate it and I was like, holy hell, that was the best cake I've ever had. Like, it was so good. So yeah, that was awesome.
For all of you wondering, raspberry champagne cake with buttercream icing, the shit. Get it. Like, you name it, like cupcakes. Amazing. But I was super happy you guys were there. I don't think you realize how tall this dude is. Like, for real.
It's super funny. It's super funny because on my screen, Michael pointed to me, so I was like, "Oh."
On my screen, which is what it's going to be, Michael pointed to nothing.
Oh, yeah. Well, then, are you over here then?
So, guys, it's me on the right, top right, Michael on top left, Chris on the bottom.
Yeah, this
Chris,
dude.
Oh, so
Michael.
So this is so on my screen, this is Michael.
Yeah.
And that's Tade.
They were talking about the wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 6'4", so I'll just be like this if I was in the row.
There you go.
Hi guys, welcome to the MCT podcast.
Yeah, super funny. So, but it was awesome. It was a good time.
Cops got called. I got thrown into a pool.
My goodness.
Great day.
It was a good time.
Do you want to say hi?
I can't.
Just say hi.
Hello.
Hi, Raven. I'm sorry, Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah. We do formal
I've heard so many Meet the Robinsons jokes in the last freaking week.
Yeah.
Those would be great to do.
Oh, I need to watch that movie. You know, I've never actually seen that movie. It's one of the random animated movies I've never seen. Yeah.
You're not missing much.
Yep. I got nothing. I don't know. So
big head, little arms.
Is that the best joke in the movie? Because I remember that in the previews.
That's literally the best joke in the entire.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of assume so, but so while we took that week off, we can talk about the one big thing that did happen, and that was the NBA Finals wrapped up. And that'll kind of get us into recapping our picks of the week from 2 weeks ago. If y'all remember that long ago, I know I barely do. I picked, the Phoenix Suns to win Game 5 at home to take an important 3-2 lead. They did not do that. Milwaukee was able to steal a very crucial Game 5 in Phoenix, and then they did what they needed to do, closed out the chip at home in Game 6. So the Bucks, congratulations once again to them. A hard-fought, a well-earned, and a completely deserved NBA title for the Milwaukee Bucks. And Giannis, I can't even imagine the level of just emotion that Giannis specifically went through. If you just think about what he's gone through in the last 10 years of his life to get to this point, really, it is just one of the most incredible stories you'll see, from growing up in Greece, not playing basketball for the first 15 years of his life, and then being, kind of coming over here to the US, getting to the NBA, being this, 180 pound looking skinny dude who was an athletic freak, but not much else, growing into, the Greek freak himself. And then kind of having, the doubters and the haters or whatever you want to call them. And everybody kind of look at him and be like, yeah, you're great, but you can't lead a team to win. You're not LeBron, you're not KD, you're not this and that. And then for him to all of a sudden, go through a couple of years of disappointing playoff series losses and things like that, but to stick with it, to sign that long-term deal in Milwaukee, to come out and say, I want to do this the hard way. I don't want to go and team up with somebody. I want to be here in Milwaukee. I want to bring a title to Milwaukee. And then to actually do that, I can't imagine all of the emotions from just straight relief to joy to everything in between that he specifically has gone through in the last week. And I can't think of a better guy to climb that mountain and finally reach the top. And he earned it. If y'all remember in Game 6 in that clinching game in Milwaukee, he dropped 50. The man dropped 50. And he had 5 blocks. Even Mojo's impressed still. So, yeah, just a huge shout out to that whole.
I didn't think that was Mojo.
It was totally Mojo, yeah. But Giannis just took over the series and was obviously the deciding factor in that series. Looks like we lost Michael. Hopefully we get him back in a minute. But yeah, really just an incredible series. There we go.
Michael's back.
Welcome back.
I have no idea what happened.
But yeah, just an incredible run for Milwaukee. And, as I said when the series started, how happy I was to have this series be what it is, Phoenix versus Milwaukee. I was like, I want Phoenix to win. I'm pulling for them. I want them to win so bad. But if they're going to lose, I have no problem with them losing to a team like Milwaukee. And you know what? I still obviously stand by that. Frankly, they were the better team. Phoenix did what they needed to do in those first 2 games, and then Milwaukee adjusted and figured them out and didn't panic, I think was the most important thing that we saw from Milwaukee. Yeah. They did not panic down 2-0 after losing 2 tough road games that ended up really not being close either. But they believed in themselves really at that point, down 2-0. I don't think anybody believed in Milwaukee outside of the people in that locker room. So for them to reel off 4 straight and win it in 6, as impressive as a title run as we've seen in quite a long time, in my opinion. What are your kind of final thoughts on this NBA season, on that finals run especially?
It's been an absolute roller coaster. Obviously, shout out to both the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns, who even when they were number 1 going into the postseason, were still like, oh, they're not going to make it past this first round. Like the number 1 team in the league was getting counted out time and time again. And they came number 2. They came this close. And next year, I feel like they're going to be extremely dangerous, regardless of all the craziness of the offseason that we will definitely talk about. I still think the Suns are the team to beat in the West. And it looks like Giannis has taken over the entire East. Even the Nets, I don't know if they can keep up with that now with how he's rolling, and the Bucks have only gotten better. But that finals run absolutely blew my expectations away. I definitely saw the Bucks kind of clawing back, especially at home, but I did not see them winning in Phoenix. That was what blew my mind with Giannis' struggles on the road all season, not just in the postseason, but all season. Seeing him come out there and go, "No, I am here, full All Might. I am here."
Oh.
And
good reference.
You like that one? You like that one?
That was a good reference.
Like, he came charging in and just took over that entire team and said, "No, look at me. We're doing this." And he backed it up. Do I kind of blame Sean O'Malley for not knocking out that dude when he said the Suns would win in 4? Yes, he cursed them. Sorry, Sean. But I still think that the Suns next year are my personal favorite next year, and my way too early hot take to win it all next year.
Okay, first off, I'll give my opinions on the finals. I think it's great because now we have that new era being introduced with Giannis winning, and it's like, oh, he's 2-time MVP already. Everyone's like, he can be the greatest. Now it's his turn. Won a championship younger than LeBron, like younger than Michael Jordan. Let's see him roll through now. Bucks made trades with the Pacers to get Aaron Holiday. They're making moves again to stay competitive. They're not going to keep Bobby Portis, who I loved in the finals in the last game. Milwaukee legend now because of that, even though the Chicago teams hate him. So fake Milwaukee fans will be like, I hate Bobby Portis because he punched Nikola in the face and he went to Europe. I forget. What was that guy's name again? Oh. Michael, you have a rat next to you now.
Oh my god.
We'll call her a rat.
Rat. No, but I think the finals are good this year. And then Michael's hot take, there'll be Suns. I'm sorry. Let's go into the NBA draft now and roll into that because
do we want to talk those crazy trades first before we do the draft? Because Kyle Kuzma got traded twice.
I'm about to because the Lakers are the favorites now because now they have Russell Westbrook and Kyle Kuzma.
Let me ask you this, Tade. Let me ask you this. How many teams that have traded for Russell Westbrook have won the chip because they traded for Russell Westbrook?
Let's look at the teams.
That's right, 0.
First
Thank
off,
you. I appreciate that.
The Rockets
I appreciate
did
that.
well.
So anyway, let me finish. Excuse me.
And then I'm sorry, the Wizards he dragged the Wizards to the playoffs. Are you kidding me? He was the best player on that team last year. So
the best player on the Wizards. Hey, they give out trophies for that.
I'm sorry, the Wizards are a shit team and they still beat the Pacers.
Even Opal doesn't agree with you over here.
Yeah.
She's just
Are you telling me they're gonna hang a banner for beating the Pacers?
Yes.
Whose number one offensive option was Domantas Sabonis?
Yes.
Awesome.
Because of the Wizards.
That would officially be the worst banner hung since the Colts hung their AFC finalist banner, which I have no problem with. Everybody loves to razz on that banner. I have no problem with that banner.
No, because you can have the AFC championship banner. That'd be fine. You can have it say, "Oh, we won the divisional round," as that AFC finalist just sounds.
That's a dumb banner to be like we won a playoff game, we won a divisional round playoff game, that gets a banner. No, that's dumb. But to say you're the second best team in the AFC, fine, go for it. It's fine. Now, granted, I understand why they don't like it because unfortunately that game against the Patriots, it was 45-9. They got shelled. But you still the banner still means what it means. It has nothing to do with the fact that they got their ass kicked in the AFC title game. Anyway, we're off track. But yeah, I knew you'd be excited about Westbrook to the Lakers. I'm telling you, as a not Lakers fan, I'm excited just because I think I'm gonna get my popcorn. I think it's just gonna be hilarious. I think it's just going to be great. I think it's going to be J.R. Smith and Kyle Kuzma, on steroids level of hilarious, drama. They're going to be the Looney Tunes out there. I mean, LeBron's already been in Space Jam and worked with the Looney Tunes. You might as well do it in real life too. So it's going to be fantastic.
2 high IQ players. I think it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be hilarious. You have one of the most alpha ball dominant guys in the world coming over to a team that already has 2 superstars. I think it's just a recipe for total success.
Who makes more money than both of them? LeBron makes the second most money on his team now. AD makes the third most money on his team now. Westbrook's the highest.
That's because LeBron has made $700 million in endorsements and off the court deals. He doesn't care about his contract in the slightest.
Also,
you could pay that.
So
yeah, you could pay that man $1, and he wouldn't mind. And it'd be fine. So, I mean, obviously, yes, the Lakers, if they're healthy and if you add Russell Westbrook, yeah, they're a better team. There's no debating that. And sure, they might be the favorites now to win the West and are way too early. 2021, 2022 NBA predictions. I can see it. I understand the logic behind it. I'm just telling you, I'm going to have a lot of fun watching those 3 try to play high-level basketball together, just because it may work. It also may not. And I'm here for either option.
Ask Houston how well that worked out.
It worked fine. They just got injured.
Oh yeah, because LeBron and AD don't have any injury history at all.
If they stay healthy, not at all.
24/7. Yep.
LeBron doesn't. He has that fake groin pain he has just to say that. Oh, I have an excuse why we lost in the playoffs this year. I wasn't healthy. That's it. That's his groin pain. It's just him. Heat strokes, guys. What was it? Heat cramps for the Spurs.
There you go. Yep. But Michael, as much as I want to back up your hot take of the Phoenix Suns winning it all, there's a really big piece to the Suns that's got yet to be decided. We'll see. Got to remember, Chris Paul basically is going to decline his player option. He may leave. He may test free agency. So you don't know. If he doesn't come back to the Suns, that's really tough. You can see just the level of elevated game that he brought to that team, is specifically to Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, the 2 most important pieces on that Suns team. He elevated them not just a level. I'd say he elevated them 5 levels from where they were a year ago. So if he doesn't come back, that's a huge on and off the court blow, because that's a big blow to morale for your 2 stars that are left behind in Devin Booker and Ayton. And I mean, that's really tough to replace on the court, and that true veteran point guard who can also go out and drop 30 in the games that, that they need it. So it's going to be really tough if they don't bring him back and they have to replace him. So I'll hold my reservations just to see kind of what Chris Paul does. Because that's as big of a piece out there this year. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we had a fun NBA draft last night as well, Thursday night. But the last thing I want to say about the Bucks winning the title and what that could mean for the league, I liked what you were saying, Tade, about that kind of ushering in this new era with Giannis taking over the reins a little bit more now, and he might be because we know we know basketball, and the NBA particularly is such a star-driven league. It's such a who's the greatest right now or who's the greatest of all time. That's the biggest debate. It's not even teams or it's who's that superstar you're watching right now. And obviously with Giannis winning it all in the fashion that he did, I mean he and we're so what have you done for me lately and all about the recency bias that don't be surprised if the national media and all that attention shifts to Giannis and you start seeing the narratives of, is Giannis the greatest ever, and is he going to be the greatest ever, is he on the path, as Tade said, he's he won a title at a younger age than LeBron won his first one, and obviously KD and those other guys are still running the league and kind of nearing the end of their careers, where Giannis is not just coming into it, but Giannis hopefully health abiding, he's probably got 10 plus years left. So I mean, just don't be surprised by that. But what I really appreciated about either team winning this title, but now specifically with Milwaukee, being a smaller market team and going out and winning it all. I mean, that's got to excite, the Indiana Pacers of the world, I mean, to a lesser degree, like the Washington Wizards. I'm just thinking of these smaller market teams that are consistently overlooked and never even thought about because they're not the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, the Lakers. They're not the Brooklyn Nets now. I mean, so, how excited do you think like seriously, like the Pacers were watching Milwaukee win it all? Now, granted, they're probably like, oh crap, we got to play these guys a lot. Yeah. But to watch a team like that put that blueprint together and then go out and win it all, that's got to give these smaller teams some level of hope and seeing it play out that way. I would imagine so, at least.
But I would hope that even just this, but just how close, especially the Pacers, have gotten in the past decade.
Yeah,
they've gotten real close. They couldn't overcome the big three in Miami. Now we have to deal with
LeBron.
Brooklyn. Okay, fine. We're not going to include Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade on that. Just LeBron.
I mean, they were there.
Disrespect.
Well, they were there. They were fantastic. Okay, who was the guy in the clutch moments, the killer shots, the elimination games? It wasn't Chris Bosh. It wasn't Dwayne Wade. It wasn't Udonis Haslem.
It was Ray Allen.
It wasn't even Ray Allen. No,
Birdman.
It was
Ray Allen and Birdman.
It was Please. The only thing anybody remembers about Birdman is Paul George dunking on him and ending his career. All right.
Yeah, poor guy.
That was a really good dunk.
Oh, that was incredible.
Mario Chalmers.
I remember watching that. Oh, hated Mario Chalmers. That dude would go like 0 for 7 from 3 in the first 3 quarters. And then he'd be like, oh, we're down 7 in the 4th. Cool. 3 straight threes. Bang. We're out of here. Let's go.
I think he's a coach now for a G League team.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's cool.
But to
anyway.
finish my point, they've gotten close in the past, and now they're like, okay, wow. But now they're just like, we can do this. It's possible. You have to build around the right pieces.
Yep.
They're not going to always get a Giannis, a freak,
right?
But if you get the right pieces involved, players who want to stay is the big thing. And you actually commit to those players. You don't give up on them or anything, like Victor Oladipo, obviously. I think that the Pacers have to be really happy about it and hopefully doubling down, especially on scouting, because I think they're slowly starting to realize that's the way you're going to have to do it. And Milwaukee has paved the road. It's up to the Pacers to actually get their crap together and drive down it. Tony, what do you think?
Small market teams don't have MVP caliber players that they get 13th in the draft. So, what the Pacers got, but Paul George at what?
Paul George at 10.
10? Yeah, so.
Paul George at 10, Miles Turner at 11.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're not going to find anybody in that range.
Those are
last
two lottery picks.
Last night, we got a guy from Oregon who's just going to replace Doug McDermott as a shooter because he's 25 years old already.
Oh, my God. Everybody's freaking out about his age.
Him 25. Buddy Hield's 26.
Yeah. So, one for the actual
he's goddamn sink.
He's 24. Not that it makes a huge difference, but he's 24. So somebody pointed out to me here or on Twitter. They didn't point it out to me. I just happened to see it on Twitter. But somebody pointed out on Twitter that when Carte when he finishes his rookie contract, he'll be as old as Doug McDermott is right now. So that's fine. You're gonna get him for cheap in his physical prime.
Yep.
What more can you ask for as a small market team?
LeBron James.
So
fair.
Why can't we get the first pick, Chris?
Yeah, because we're not Detroit and we didn't cheat. I'm just kidding.
Hank.
Hey, be good.
Just kidding.
Kate's gonna be great for them.
I mean, I think so. I hope so. I'm not really a Detroit Pistons like hater anyway. So if they're going to be good, they can be good. It's fine by me. Yeah, I know a lot of people wanted, to go up to that number 1 spot for Cade Cunningham. So he's got some hype around him for sure as the number 1 overall pick. So, best of luck to him in Detroit. I just, you hate to see someone not reach the hype level that is set on them when it's, not their fault.
Sure.
One of the other things, speaking of Carte, that Pacers pick at 13, apparently there were multiple teams that were trying to trade up to get him as well. So that kind of makes you take that for what it's worth, but that kind of makes you feel maybe a little bit better about the pick. I know it makes me feel a little bit better because it's nice when you get a guy that other teams are kind of coveting as well. And especially when you're talking about the Pacers who, recently have made a knack for drafting that random foreign guy that we've never heard of, or the TJ Leafs of the world that, nobody's really looking at. And then they're like, cool, first rounder. And, so it's kind of nice to see them take a bit of a safer, more solid pick who might not have the highest ceiling, but he also doesn't have a really low floor. So, he's already, I mean, if you think about it, he kind of fits right into what the Pacers are trying to do right now, where they're like, cool, last year we got this kind of out of left field coach. We were trying a whole bunch of new things. Oh crap, nobody liked that and none of it worked. We need to scrap all of that, get back to basics, build the fundamentals, and just, get safe. We'll go get Rick Carlisle, who's, an old school, tough-nosed, physical, smart Hall of Fame level coach. Yeah. We'll go get him. Hey, perfect. There's this 24-year-old who is not a project. He's already polished. We kind of know what his ceiling is going to be and what his floor might be, and he's going to slot right into the rotation. Yeah. This year. And you know what? He makes, I mean, if you start looking at what the Pacers did, so it's tough specifically for the Pacers. I'll put this disclaimer out there. It's tough to judge any team in any sport after every draft night because you just don't know. You have no idea what these kids are going to shape up to be. My favorite example from recent years is looking at football, looking at the Colts. Bleacher Report put out an article in 2018 that said Darius Leonard was the worst pick in the NFL draft. And all he has done has been a 3-time All-Pro, 2-time first-team All-Pro, and that boy is about to get paid. But he was the worst pick in the draft in April of 2018. So, and that's not a shot at Bleacher Report or that reporter because he obviously wasn't the only one thinking something along those lines. Sure. A lot of people were thinking that. And so that's kind of the grain of salt everybody needs to take when it comes to any draft grade or even, we'll talk about it later, Michael, the MLB Trade Deadline, when you talk about who won what. You don't know that right now. Nothing is set in stone. Okay. So, and the Pacers specifically, what they did yesterday was they were super active, by the way, which for what it's worth, I always love seeing. Fantastic. They made moves. They made a couple trades. They drafted, again, that solid pick in Carte at 13. And then they made a trade with Washington for, oh crap, why can't I think of his name? It's Isaiah, I thought it was Washington, but it's not Isaiah Washington. It's
no, yeah.
But they made a trade. They sent out, they traded Justin Holiday to the Wizards. So you know what? Good for Justin Holiday, by the way. He'll get a solid, spot in the lineup. He'll get more minutes. He'll get a bigger opportunity than he got the last couple of seasons. That he got the last couple of seasons with these Pacers. Let's see. Where did it go? Isaiah Jackson. So they made a trade with the Wizards to grab Isaiah Jackson. So the interesting thing about that is he is a true center. So a lot of people are joking that okay, is Kevin Pritchard trying to fill the gauntlet up, get these infinity stones of centers? Because we already had 3. So let's just go ahead and add a 4th and we're going to get a starting lineup full of centers.
I'd be so mad if I was Goga.
So that's the thing, right? So this is why it makes it tougher to judge what the Pacers are right now, because you'd like to imagine that obviously they trade for a center and they draft a solid shooter in Carte as part of bigger moves that are yet to come. A Miles Turner or a Domantas Sabonis trade. Don't be surprised if. So, in my opinion, I think 2 players are going to get moved from the Pacers here soon. I think Miles Turner and Jeremy Lamb are about to get traded. Isaiah Jackson is basically, from what I was seeing on Twitter, he is a Miles Turner clone. He's a true center who stretches the floor a bit and can shoot the 3. And he does the things that Miles Turner does. And guess what? You don't make a trade for a guy who's a clone of a player you already have in your team unless you're already kind of putting the pieces together to move from that guy. Logic would tell you that. And it's kind of the same idea with Carte. You don't really draft, a solid, guy who's going to slot into the 2 spot and the shooting guard spot and stuff him behind TJ Warren, Jeremy Lamb, Karis LeVert. And, you don't take a lottery pick guy when you've got, 3 guys in front of him and Doug McDermott. I mean, you have 4 guys that fluctuate between the 2 and the 3. And so you don't add another one if you don't, if you're not already kind of thinking, hey, we're moving on from 1 or even 2 of these guys. So, it's tough to judge the Pacers because I think there's still a lot of moving pieces before this roster kind of settles in. But I like the way we're going. I really do. I think obviously just like the last 3 years, health is going to be the biggest factor. But you can only do so much about that. You still have to try to build the team as best as you can. And I think they're doing that for, again, being a small market team that's lost 2 superstars in the last 5 years. The Pacers are doing a good job of fielding competitive teams, and trying to put the best product possible out there. They could have turned into Detroit and tanked for 2 years, or even, Philly and tanked for 2 or 3 years after this and just said, screw it. Fine. We'll try to get the number 1 pick. But they were like, nah, we're first round playoffs. That's our sweet spot.
So I keep forgetting we have Brissett now too on the team.
Oh, Shea Brissett. Yeah. He looks really solid on that 2-way contract that turned into a 3-year deal already. Yeah. And they just picked up the player option earlier today on Edmund Sumner. So
Sumner's good.
I didn't realize how he gets a nice little player option. It's $3.2 million for that man.
Yeah, it's better than being for Mad Ants. He's always
there. You go.
That's when we start off, which is where these new draftees are going. Which is where Leaf was for a little bit because he sucked. So let's see if it's a hit or miss this year.
And don't forget about their draft pick last year in Cassius Stanley. One of the most athletic freak dudes in the league. Was part of the dunk contest last year. So, I'm hoping he gets a bigger opportunity to play this year too. So you've got a lot of guys.
Got it.
There you go. You got a lot of guys and a lot of moving pieces, and there's 1 ball and only 5 guys can be on the court at once. So they're going to move some pieces. Just kind of hang tight, Pacers fans. Like I said, okay, I'm thinking Jeremy Lamb and Miles Turner are moving. Who are you guys thinking? What do you thinking the Pacers' next moves are at this point?
I think Lamb's got to go. I like Jeremy Lamb, but he's just kind of the odd man out right now. I am a big Miles Turner fan, so I obviously don't want to see Miles Turner go. It makes sense, and I hate that it makes sense. I hate how much sense you just made. I love Miles Turner, and I hate to see him go.
Me too.
But
I really
he's expensive, and I don't know. I hate to see it, but you're 100% right there. But I definitely 100% think that Jeremy Lamb has to go, and because of expensive contract. And where do you put him when he comes back? And he's healthy, 110% healthy. Where do you put him? So might as well get something out of him. Something's better than nothing. You now have a pretty decent need at backup point guard as well. That would be kind of nice to fill with Aaron Holiday being gone.
TJ McConnell.
Yes. TJ McConnell would be a great backup because he's so good. He'd be a starter on a crappy team like OKC.
Yep.
Or
almost anyone would be a starter in OKC right now.
because it's Kemba as their starting point guard. So not good. From my perspective, I think Pacers obviously have a logjam at center now. I think we had 3 before. Well, we had kind of 4 before. But besides the point, I think we get rid of Goga.
Yeah.
I think Goga's experiment isn't really working. If we got a traditional center now, like that's what he was supposed to be good at. Obviously, that's not going to work out then. So they're going to see who's a better defender. I'm guessing Goga goes. I think Lamb's going to stay. I think we'll keep him as our replacement for Doug McDermott a little bit, and then keep Durante in the bench for a bit, like on the back end of the bench. Bench seat warmer for the starters. Do the rookie duties, get them food, Chick-fil-A, all that jazz. So I don't think he's going to have a major impact. What I would want the Pacers to do as a fan, get rid of Malcolm Brogdon. Get rid of that because apparently he's a cancer in the locker room. So I don't know why we didn't trade him for Ben Simmons. Apparently, why not just him, Aaron Holiday, a pick, Ben Simmons. We'll get him. We don't need the shooting. We're not a shooting team. Just have him drive every time. It's fine.
We don't score points.
I'll tell you what, with Ben Simmons on the team, all the buildings are going to get completely redone with brand new bricks if we get that man onto the team. Keep Ben Simmons away from Indianapolis.
No.
Ew.
Bring him to Indianapolis. He has a high. He gets paid a lot. He'll live in the city for a bit. He'll have to pay state taxes. It's going to be great for the economy. We're going to rebuild Indiana brick by brick thanks to Ben Simmons.
Is it bad that I like there's a part of me that wants him here in Indy solely because I want to buy a jersey with my last name on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without it being
just don't make one.
Without it being a custom jersey. I could be like this dude. I don't even have to make
No, guys, he should go to the Brickyard then for the 500.
Oh,
because he lays.
My God. Oh, okay.
He would be perfect for the city. He'd be the best advocate for everything brick.
Oh my God. Okay,
we're done. The house is made partially of brick.
We're done.
Is he a Freemason?
We'll end on the good pun. We'll end on the good one. It's fine. Oh my goodness.
Let's segue into baseball here now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's fine. We can do that. So, first baseball thing let's talk about. So, Mr.
Votto still bangs.
Mr. Joey Votto has found the fountain of youth because he had another home run tonight, which makes 7 games in a row for the 62-year-old Joey Votto there in Cincinnati. So definitely found the fountain of youth. And you want to talk a likable dude in baseball. I mean, there's a dozen of them out there, but there's only one Joey Votto. And you can't not like the dude. He's just one of those, infectious dudes with a big old smile and a goofball, but, shows up to work every day, does the, I don't know. He just gets it done. He's such a dude. I feel like he's a dude you can I feel like you can bro out with him, but he's also he's here for you. And he also has a good joke or two. And I feel like he'd be a great dad jokes and puns. And I don't know. I think he's just an all around. He's just a good dude. So
you've heard the story about when he brought a donkey into the clubhouse, right?
I don't remember that. No.
So he made a deal with former Reds shortstop Zach Cozart. That's a name. Where they told him if you're an all-star this year, I will get you a donkey and it will be in the clubhouse when you return from the all-star break. Cozart went out and had a stellar first half of the season. And when he came back from the first game back for the all-star break, there was a freaking donkey with a note from Joey Votto in the freaking clubhouse, just chilling. That is amazing. And the big thing is that he needs one more game to set an MLB record, Chris. Yeah. One more home run tomorrow in New York, and he sets a major league world record. That is unheard of from a dude in his late 30s. unheard of. But I'm obviously here for it. He hit a home run on my honeymoon. Like, I can't be mad at the dude. I love the dude. That was the only good thing about that entire game. We're not going to talk about that game. But that's probably like the best thing. And then Jonathan India is very quiet. NL Rookie of the Year run has been stellar to watch as well, if we're talking a little bit more Reds. But I feel like we need to get to what everyone was here to listen for today, Chris. And that is the Blue Jays trading for Jose Barros and getting absolutely fleeced. Like, come on. Or how bad, like, because there was a lot of really weird moves. There was a lot of misinformation. There was a lot of close deals that immediately backpedaled.
Oh, yeah.
This has been the craziest trade deadline that I have ever seen, ever.
Yeah.
As a baseball fan, or in any sport. I have not seen any sport with this kind of top level moves. And to put it in other sports terms for this man, this is like every quarterback in the NFL going on musical chairs. That's the kind of afternoon that we've had the last 2 days.
Yeah,
it's been
so this
crazy.
Is like, so think like, Todd, I think like 5 years ago, right? Think if 5 years ago, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, and
that wouldn't be Peyton. That'd be Luck.
And Luck and Drew Brees all got traded in like a 24-hour period. They all just got moved. Plus like 15 other like B-level moves happen. So you have like, think you're like your wide receiver twos and a couple of ones getting traded, and all of that shaking out in literally like a 24-hour period, and
also 2 teams.
Basically,
no,
the Cubs and the Nationals were all over the place, though.
Well, I mean, I guess teams getting players, it was all over the place, but yeah, it was all coming from a kind of a small number of teams.
Yeah.
So I mean, basically, Todd, I think about. In terms, seriously, for me as a Cubs fan, honestly, what today was like, imagine if the Colts, instead of re-signing these guys, decided to trade Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dwight Freeney, and Robert Mathis.
So Colts Black Friday.
Yeah, like literally think if they traded those 5 players in a matter of 24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd shoot myself. That'd be horrible.
Yeah, it's like seriously that's close to the level that Cubs fans are going through today. So like it's crazy. And then not only that, Tade, so not only imagine that happening, but imagine all of those players coming out and publicly saying, I want to be a Colt. I want to stay here. I want to re-sign here. This is where I want to play. And then ownership being like, cool, but you want money, so I'm going to trade you. And then watch those players get traded, the news break of those players getting traded, and then every single one of them still coming out and saying like, hey, I want to re-sign in the offseason with these guys. Mm-hmm. And then still knowing in the back of your head that like, but they're still going to want money, so it probably won't happen. Yeah. So that's how I'm feeling. If you guys want, I'll give my spiel and then pass the floor. As you know, as silly as it might sound, and as some people might not, feel the same way about their sports teams and others, when I tell you that this is the darkest day that I've had as a Cubs fan, and the toughest day that I've gone through, and I've gone through 100 lost seasons. I've watched everybody get traded at the trade deadline and not care, because I'm like, jokingly being like, well, they hit a home run at Rayleigh this week, I bet you they're gone. And then watching them trade Ryan Terrio and Mark DeRosa and everything, watching that come through. And then it breaks my heart so much. And I know as we all knew, as everybody knows in sports, nothing lasts forever. Every player's career, comes to an end at some point. And yeah, this core of players came up together, and the chances of them sticking together for their entire careers, all in Chicago and winning multiple World Series, that's a fantasy. That's tough. Logically, it probably wasn't going to happen. And you knew that pieces might get shipped off, and you knew that stuff can't stay the same forever. Still, nobody would have predicted that in a span of 24 hours, with three of the core four players basically begging to stay here and to re-sign here 4 years to come in extensions, for ownership to still be like, no, I got to move you, and then to actually go through it and do it, and then to be in the world that we're in and have social media and have cameras everywhere, and everybody's got Twitter at their fingertips, and then to go on Twitter and just torment yourself all day watching tribute videos of these guys and hearing stories from fans about, the first time they went to the ballpark in 2012, watching babyface Anthony Rizzo walk up, and seeing the then and now of the Cubs drafting Javi Baez at 9 overall in 2013, and watching him, it's so much to take in all at once that it honestly, like, it numbed me today. It was so much all happening in a span of like an hour, by the way. Mm-hmm. Like Baez, like Rizzo happened yesterday, and Kimbrel happened this morning around like noon. No, it was a little later than that. It's probably like 2. But Baez and Bryant happened at like 3 o'clock on, and the deadline was at 4. So, I mean, I'm sitting here at 3 o'clock on the clock, working from home, answering phone calls, thinking like, I haven't seen any news yet. Like trying, I actually letting myself believe that, like, hey, maybe they're not going to get moved. Like, it would really suck if Rizzo's the only one that gets moved. That would really be awful. But like, maybe they don't get moved. Maybe they don't get moved. And then at like 3:30, it comes down that boom, Baez is going to the Mets. And, and that kills me. I've got a jersey in my closet, a World Series champion jersey in gold in my closet of Javi Baez. I've worn it on the podcast before because that is my dude. And I say is because he is still my dude. I am not that loyal of a Cubs fan that he is not my dude anymore. He is absolutely my bleeping dude for the rest of his career. Same thing with Rizzo. Same thing with Bryant. I will root for those human beings wherever they go. Even Rizzo, who is a goddamn New York Yankee that I can't stand, I will still root for that man, because those 3 men have a heart of gold and deserve way more than the Cubs front office ever gave them. And I clarify that by the Cubs front office, because those are the people that let them down, not the players, not their teammates, not their coaches, not the fans, for damn sure. It was the front office people who let them down. And at this moment, like, it is dark. It is dark right now in Cubs franchise. And it's just tough. This is like nothing. This is like nothing I've gone through before in sports. And I've suffered, and the double-edged sword of having so many favorite sports teams that I get teased on because I'm a Cubs fan, and I'm even a Brewers fan because of my dad, and I'm a Diamondbacks fan because I lived there. And even in football, it's the same way. It's Packers and Colts and Cardinals, and in basketball, it's the Suns and the Pacers. It's all these teams. The double-edged sword of having that is I've gone through a lot of tough losses too. I have all these chances to win, haven't seen a whole lot of them. So, it's tough. I have lived through the Fail Marys of the world, and I have seen the Cardinals get screwed out of a Super Bowl because Santonio Holmes' foot was not down. And I've seen, and I've seen my Cubs lose a wild card game at home in Wrigley to the Rockies because Trevor Story hit a single. And, well, thank God he only hit a single. That's not going to kill you. You guys don't know that reference. Craig will know that reference. But, and I've seen 100 lost seasons from the Cubs. I've seen the Colts, lose Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning, and I've seen them go 2-14 with Curtis Painter as their quarterback. And, I've gone through all this, and this today, July 30th, 2021, is probably my least favorite day in sports. This is worse than the Packers losing the NFC title game to Seattle after being up 16, up 16 with like 8 minutes to go and having the onside kick and all of that stuff. Like this hurts so much worse because this was avoidable. That's the biggest thing. This was avoidable, and this is business creeping into my pure love of sports, and I hate it. I hate it. I understand that sports are a business, but for me and for you, Michael, and for you, Tade, and for our viewers and L fans, sports are part of our escape from reality. They're not supposed to be the business like this. They're not supposed to make these cold-hearted business decisions. We live with those day to day in our in our jobs and our lives. Sports is supposed to be where you have these Cinderella stories and movies are made from it, and you have all these awesome moments that give you faith in humanity and smiles. And then when the hammer comes down and business happens like this and to this degree, it shatters everything. And I know Cubs fans, across the board today are feeling a lot of things, and it's tough. And nobody can tell you, and I want to say I've seen it on Twitter, and I completely agree. No one can tell you how to fan. So don't let anybody out there tell you that, you shouldn't be this upset, or you should be more upset, or you feel how you feel how you want to feel. And there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of pain in this. I drove home from work last night at, when with the Rizzo news breaking, it was a few hours actually after the Rizzo news broke. So it's kind of sank in. I was driving home. I have a 6-minute drive from work, so it's not very long. And all of a sudden I'm like halfway home. I'm by myself in my car, right? And I lost it for a moment. I banged on my steering wheel and I'm screaming, and I was like, you don't do this. You don't do this. This isn't right. This isn't right. None of and it just all came out of me. It came from nowhere. And it hit me a couple of times, like I said, yesterday with the Rizzo news. And then today, it hit me so bad, it numbed me from kind of everything. And then, and I still don't know how to process it all. I've never, it sucks. I'll end by saying, there is I'm holding on to the tiniest nugget of hope that the Cubs are playing 12D chess, and the fact that they just shipped out Baez, Bryant, Rizzo, Kimbrel, Tepera, Jake Marisnick, and Trevor Williams. One, that I said, it's a lot to take in, but Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo, those three are obviously the big ones. All three of them are rentals right now because they're unrestricted free agents. And all three of them have specifically said, after they got traded, after they got screwed over by the Cubs front office, they have all still come out and publicly put it on record that they would welcome an opportunity to come back. So there's a chance that if the Cubs open their checkbook and pay these players what they deserve, plus some for putting them through this crap this year, that the Cubs are actually going to get a haul of players and prospects, and then bring back the three big core players that they shipped out. Honestly, that's the biggest nugget of hope that I'm holding on to. That's probably getting me and a lot of Cubs fans through today. But it doesn't make today any easier, and it doesn't make the rest of the season any easier. Because it's not going to be easy at all. It's rough.
How much do the Cubs get fined if there was collusion between the players to do that?
I mean, if they can somehow, if there is somehow actually a record of proving that, they colluded. I don't even know if the MLB has collusion rules. I'm going to be completely honest with you, because they're not the NBA. Like, the NBA has those rules because, again, it's a star-driven league, and we've seen that crap, so many times in so blatantly obvious ways that the NBA had to do something about it. I don't think there's a collusion rules in MLB. I could be wrong. I've yet to see a case being brought up. But as uncommon as it might be to trade a guy off and then bring him back, it's not unheard of either. And in fact, the Cubs were involved in it with the last big name that got moved. That was back in 2016 when they won the World Series. They made a trade deadline move to acquire Aroldis Chapman from the Yankees for a haul of prospects. And then in that offseason, Chapman re-signed with the Yankees.
Michael's pondering over here.
No, I'm trying to remember. I thought Chapman got traded to the Cubs, but I think you might be right. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
From the Reds. From the Reds, not the Yankees.
Nope, from the Yankees. From the Yankees. 100%. Because they sent Gleyber Torres was the big prospect in that package. So they sent Gleyber Torres to New York.
Oh.
Because he's in New York. Yeah. But yeah. It was like 5 prospects, and Gleyber Torres was the big prize prospect in that one. But yeah, and then like I said,
Nationals suck, Rockies suck, and Orioles suck. 4 worst teams.
There you go. Well, the Orioles just suck because they just do. They're bad. They've always been bad. They didn't do anything today to get bad. The Nationals are really surprising. Yeah, to ship off everybody as well. I have no idea. My favorite joke and meme of the day today is because the Nationals and Cubs actually played a game tonight after the trade deadline and everything. And they were like, when Juan Soto and Wilson Contreras realize they're the only ones left. Yeah, that was pretty funny. At least got me a good chuckle through the dark day. But yeah, the Nationals, we'll talk about that because that's arguably the biggest blockbuster to happen because the Bryant and Baez and even Kimbrel moves were kind of known to be happening. What the Nationals did, I don't think anybody was guessing that what was going to happen with them. And you want to talk about the craziness of the trade deadline? I think that big trade perfectly encapsulates what the deadline was like for everybody. So yesterday it starts getting reported that all of a sudden the Padres are close to acquiring Max Scherzer. And so everyone's kind of freaking out over that, kind of drooling, thinking about that rotation with Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Max Scherzer, and Danielson Lamet, topping that rotation. You've got 3 Cy Young winners, and arguably 2 Hall of Famers at that point in that rotation alone. And that's insane to go along with one of the best offenses we've seen in modern baseball. Then all of a sudden, about an hour after that, the break comes on hard, and they say, hold on, now the Dodgers are close to acquiring Max Scherzer. Oh, and they're also going to try and get Trey Turner. And so everybody starts losing their mind over that. And then that deal actually gets finalized. So Max Scherzer and Trey Turner not going to San Diego, but they go to LA. They go to the Dodgers. And now all of a sudden the Dodgers look poised to kind of take back the NL West. So, for the next 12 hours or so. And then because now you're looking at that rotation, back me up, Michael. Now you're looking at the Dodgers rotation with Kershaw and Scherzer alone. I mean, that's arguably the nastiest 1-2 punch we've ever seen in baseball. And it's funny because I've always said the Dodgers had the best 1-2 punch in baseball, in modern baseball, that we've seen, that I've seen in my lifetime, a few years ago when they had Kershaw in his prime and Greinke, because holy crap. And at that time, there was you weren't getting any better than that. Those two fought for the NL Cy Young. I mean, like they were neck and neck for the Cy Young, and they were both on the same team. So that was pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any better than Kershaw and Scherzer, 2 Hall of Famers heading that rotation. And you still have, I guess not Rich Hill anymore, huh? They moved him.
Walker Buehler.
Thank you. That's who I was trying to think of too. So yeah, you've got a nasty top 3 of that rotation. And when you start thinking postseason, really it's your top 3 guys that are going. So again, that's going to be a tough 3-headed monster to handle from the Dodgers if they get that far in the playoffs, or when you start thinking in that terms. And then you add Trey Turner, who is finding pop in his bat, is obviously the fastest man in baseball, and an elite defensive shortstop. So I mean, the Dodgers elite, yes. Anyway, so. I mean, and he can play multiple positions too, right? I mean, I've seen him play in the outfield and things like that. So, I mean, that's a heck of a move for the Dodgers. That's an obviously like screw you, we're really trying to win now, and they've got two of the best teams in baseball in their division to fight, in the Padres and the surprise Giants of the year. So I mean, that was just a heck of a move. I couldn't believe it. They did have to give up, I believe, their top prospect, switch hitting catcher Keibert Ruiz. But you don't acquire Max Scherzer and Trey Turner for nothing. So they got,
it was their top two. It was Robert Ruiz and their pitcher, Josiah Gray, who actually had just made his Dodgers debut on Sunday. And he pitched fairly well too. And he's converted shortstop, so he's an athlete. He can hit. He makes his Dodgers debut. He was like, all right, we're getting rolling. Wait, where am I going? Like, talk about that shift in direction real quick. For that guy, a roller coaster of emotions there, because he's probably not even. With the Nationals' current rotation, he's probably still going to stay in the Bros though. So, yay!
Yeah, definitely get some opportunity there.
With this kind of a move, with this aggressiveness that the Dodgers just showed, does that mean Trevor Bauer is not coming back this year?
I think that's the biggest question. So, I think if I have to make a snap, judgment call on it, I would say yes. I would say the Dodgers made this move not necessarily as a panic move, but as a kind of like, oh crap, he might not come back this year. We need somebody. And they just luck into the fact that, Scherzer is available at the deadline, basically.
Feels bad for Steven Strasburg. But I mean, the Nationals did just kind of out of nowhere. And we were both very, very shocked. And we were talking about it, me and Joey, that the Nationals just went pure fire sale. Joey was elated because he's a Braves fan.
Oh, sure.
So he did not care.
Nope, that's one less team to worry about.
But I think he was just laughing still. He said it today. He's like, how mad are Padres fans still about this move?
Oh,
like,
dude.
Not only do you lose the player the ace, the Cy Young contender that you were just about to trade for, and one of the best shortstops in baseball just went to your rival. Like, just like that. Like, what kind of immediate backpedal is that? That just came out of nowhere. I mean, it's still much better than the news that broke earlier that said Chris Bryant was going to New York to the Yankees.
Yeah, by the fake Jeff Passan account. That was great.
And somebody believed it and retweeted it. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Dude, multiple people believed it and retweeted it. Like multiple legit reporters. That was the biggest issue. Was that like Jesse Rogers, ESPN Chicago writer, quote tweeted it as it was real. Bob Nightingale quote tweeted it as it was real. It's bad.
Feels bad for that dude. Dude. I mean,
basically Todd. So like the Woj of MLB was tweeting all the he was doing his stuff for the trade deadline, and somebody had made a fake account with his name is Jeff Passan and his his first and last name is Jeff Passan. Somebody made a fake account with like 3 F's, 2 P's, 4 S's, and 3 N's. So it was obviously a fake account, but you had to look at it for a second. And he tweeted out that Chris Bryant, done deal, going to the Yankees. And then multiple legitimate reporters, retweeted it, quote tweeted it. Were like, oh crap, here we go. Then to have to go like, ooh, never mind. So
that's pretty funny.
Pretty wild. But Michael, you talked about Padres fans and how upset they were. What's the final salt in the wound there? That not only do the Dodgers get better by stealing the ace they were going to trade and adding that shortstop as well, the Giants go out and make a giant move, pun intended, and get Chris Bryant. So holy crap, the Padres, who, when we talked about the Padres at the beginning of the season, how loaded they were, and they obviously still are, but holy crap, that gap just got a lot closer. They are definitely not comfortable right now. If you're the San Diego Padres, you are not comfortable at all. If you're the NL West is going to be so much fun to watch shake out because, we thought it was going to be the most competitive division in baseball just between those two teams, between the Dodgers and the Padres. We didn't think the Giants were going to be, we thought they were going to be an afterthought at the beginning of the year, like a lot of people did. And now that division that was already going to be the most fun in baseball to watch the Dodgers and Padres shake it out. Now you add that third team in there who is obviously legitimate, and they added firepower at the deadline, so they're going for it too. You're going to have a fight to the death with those three teams, and it is just going to be so much fun to watch because think about the star power that we now have between those three teams. I mean, it's pretty crazy. On one hand, you're talking Buster Posey, Chris Bryant, and Mike Yastrzemski, and then on the other hand, you're talking Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner, and then on your third non-existent hand, you're talking Danielson Lamet, Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Eric Hosmer. Those are all those players are in the same division fighting for one title and basically also fighting not to be in the one game wild card against probably the other team in that 3-team fight. It is going to be so much fun to watch. I'm excited.
It's an absolute dogfight. And the worst part is that if you're any other team in the National League, what are you thinking now? Like the Reds are making a playoff push.
Win your division. Win your division.
You have to. That's the only way you can make a playoff spot right now. Yeah. Like that's it. Win.
No. I'm telling you, there's no way that a second team from the Central or the East gets into the playoffs at this rate. There's just no way. There's no way. Both wildcard teams are coming from that NL West if they have anything to say about it. So, yeah.
The only thing that I was seeing is like I was shocked about how aggressive the Blue Jays got today. And it was just kind of came out of nowhere because they are like 9 games back.
Right.
And they didn't go after anybody like too exciting. Brad Hand, they have had bullpen issues. Brad Hand is a
solid,
tough,
solid.
Not recently.
Solid.
That's it. Pickup. And it's a what, especially with pitchers, especially bullpen arms. It's a what have you done for me lately?
But it's also,
he has been struggling in Washington.
But it's also a low risk, high reward kind of move.
Fair. But they gave up some pretty big prospects for him, and they gave us some pretty big prospects for Jose Barros. And that's why I felt like that deal was a really bad move. Because not only did you give up your number 5 overall pick from this past summer, but you also gave up your top pitching your second top pitching prospect on your own team to get a guy who has been okay at best.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, he is an all-star level pitcher as a whole. But yeah, the biggest thing for me when you're looking at the Blue Jays is, why get so aggressive this year when you're looking up at the Red Sox and the Rays and probably, the Yankees as well are right there in it. So you're fighting, against 3 solid teams that also all added firepower and got better too. So you didn't really do a lot to close the gap. And as you mentioned, you gave up prospects, which in baseball can be the most important, resources to an organization. So it's tough.
The big thing is we've talked about the moves that we've seen really quickly, just to kind of wrap up this trade deadline talk. I want to ask you, what's a deal that you're shocked didn't get done? And what's a deal that you saw today where you felt like it was not really one-sided, but it was an even trade, fair reward that you kind of surprised you a little bit that got made?
Okay. So
you want to go first? Go for it.
Sure. The deal that I think I and a lot of other people expected to happen that didn't happen at all is Trevor Story getting moved out of Colorado to anywhere. That man was, I expected him to get moved before Joey Gallo got moved out of Texas, to be honest. Because once Nolan Arenado left Colorado, I was like, cool, there is no reason for Trevor Story to be here anymore at all. Like, he's not going to have any fun. Colorado obviously doesn't want to win. They just paid St. Louis $50 million to take one of their most iconic players in franchise history. They don't want to win. So, why is Trevor Story still even here? So the fact that he didn't get moved just shows a big ineptitude in the terms of the Rockies front office. And I saw a quote tonight. I don't know if you guys saw anything about it, where basically Trevor Story was like, "I'm not happy. I don't want to talk." He was like, "I don't want to talk about it. I don't know how stuff unfolded the way it did, but I'm not happy." And so I'm like, you're just like, ooh, if any of us had concerns about how he's feeling about Colorado, he's kind of letting loose now that the trade deadline's gone. So that's the move I'm surprised didn't get done somehow, some way to somebody for something. The joke I saw was maybe Colorado thought the trade deadline was tomorrow and not today because they scratched him from tonight's game. So after 4:00 had passed, especially in Colorado out west, they didn't, their first pitch wasn't until like 9:00. So they scratched him at like 8. Someone was like, "Do they realize the trade deadline was 4 hours ago and not tomorrow? Because might have some problems there." And then the move that I really actually think is pretty even keel, pretty even-sided, helping both teams out. As much as it pains me, was the Craig Kimbrell to the White Sox move. I think so. You have the White Sox, who, let's be honest, have as legitimate chance as anybody to win the American League, if not the World Series right now. They have been playing fantastic baseball, dealing with a lot of injuries to key players. They lost Eloy Jimenez for the first half of the season, basically. He's just now coming back. They lost Luis Robert early in the year as well for the rest of the year, but they are still playing fantastic baseball. So yeah, they were aggressive to win now. They reminded me again of the Cubs in 2016, saying, "Hey, we're a fantastic team who has, 1 or 2 issues, and screw it, we're all in. Let's go fix that issue." And they went out and got arguably the best arm on the market, and that was Craig Kimbrell, who was was an all-star this year. And now you have a lethal end of the bullpen punch in Kimbrell and Liam Hendricks. I mean, that's as scary as it's going to as you're going to see, I'd say, outside of like Milwaukee, who has Devin Williams and Josh Hader. They're right on. I'd say Kimbrell and Hendricks is right at that level. But to make that trade fair, like I was saying for the Cubs, if you look at who they got back in Nick Madrigal, who was hitting just a tick over 300 this year before he tore his hip basically and is out for the year. He is I was actually texting Matt earlier about that trade when it went down. And, he was kind of, we were kind of talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, Madrigal doesn't have a whole lot of power. So this and that." And I was like, "Yeah, but you know what? He's a top of the lineup guy, contact hitter, get on base. He reminds me of Dexter Fowler. He reminds me of that guy that is just your stable top of the lineup table setter, get on base and let your big bats behind him do the work." Yeah. And he is an above average, fielder. And let's be honest, he's one of the only guys that the Cubs got in all of these moves that's MLB ready. So the fact that, and he's still, young, under team control, all those good things. So Nick Madrigal was a huge get for a rental, for a guy who's, he's got great stuff right now, but he's definitely, nearing the end of his career anyway. This is the last year on his contract. He's a 3-month rental for the White Sox, who just gave up a big piece, but they also gave up Cody Huer. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, to be honest. So,
I think it's Hoyer,
but it might be Hoyer, but we've seen him at the MLB level, and he is filthy. When he's got his stuff working, he is filthy. He's had a tough year this year, but again, still really young, pretty raw. But the talent and the filth is there. So if the Cubs can tap into that, I mean, think about it for giving up a 4-month rental, they might get their second baseman of the future, or their shortstop of the future, that a top of the lineup guy and an extremely effective bullpen piece for the foreseeable future, just for giving up a rental. And again, the White Sox, whose window is wide open right now, they add an all-star Hall of Fame closer to probably, their 8th inning role. and create a deadly 1-2 punch at the back of their bullpen. So I think that trade was pretty even keeled for both teams. I think both teams can walk away extremely happy with that trade.
And I hate this because I agree with you on both ends. Because when I was going through the deals, because 80 players got traded in the last 24 hours. So it was really hard to keep up with everything. And I didn't actually realize the haul that Chicago got back for Craig Kimbrell. And I messaged you guys immediately like, okay, this seems more fair. You got a guy in the very back nine of his career, and you have a guy who has like, he's Billy Hamilton, but he can hit kind of thing with Nick Madrigal, and he has the potential to be a phenomenal fielder. And Cody Hoyer, like you said, he's just been nasty. He's had some rough patches, but he's young. But he's been filthy when he's going. And then I'm still especially really mad about the whole Trevor Story situation because he was supposed to go here. This had been a thing for a long time. And I was really upset that didn't get done. And I swear if it comes out that the Rockies' ineptitude kept Trevor Story from Cincinnati, I'm done. That's it. That's game over. But instead of just rehashing everything you just said, I'm actually going to talk about how about the Braves not giving up on the season when their all-star player goes down and said, you know what? No, we're going to win this for him. And they go out and make huge moves with Duvall, which I'm pretty sure didn't Duvall play in Atlanta? I thought he left Cincinnati to go to Atlanta. That was hilarious.
They didn't re-sign him this past year. He ends up in Miami and they trade for him. So pretty hilarious full circle story there.
But and then Jorge Soler was another big one. They got two
That's crazy.
Big bats, which is what we were talking about with Joey. Like that's what they needed. Pitching has been solid. Everything's fine. The offense has been the struggle. But the one thing I will say is I feel so bad for Panda. He got traded and got cut, man.
Yeah. Don't forget the two other outfielders that they've added in the last, today and the last week. They added Jock Peterson. And they added Eddie Rosario today in that Pablo Sandoval trade. So they added 4 outfielders to kind of replace Acuna and a second spot. So yeah, kudos to them for, again, and it kind of makes you wonder, because think about the timeline of things coming down, right? Scherzer and Trey Turner get dealt last night. So who knows? Maybe the Braves front office kind of went to bed last night and woke up today saying, screw it. If the Nationals are giving up, why don't we put the pedal to the metal and try to right the ship? So, you can kind of play this domino effect of like, well, what if Scherzer and Trey Turner don't get dealt? Maybe they don't make the move for all of those pieces. Maybe they only go and get Adam Duvall back. Maybe they don't trade for Rosario and Soler and Duvall and Jock Peterson. It's a lot of fun to kind of play that, that kind of what if game. But yeah, shout out to Atlanta. We'll see how that works out for them. But the Mets added some firepower too. We didn't really talk about that one, kind of because again it really hurts. But I will say that one hurts the most. So I was going to talk about those last couple of oddities. But Javi Baez, I'm super happy for him because he gets traded to the Mets, which super fun. But for him, he gets to go play baseball with his best friend in Francisco Lindor. So that's just fantastic. And he said today in his, final little press conference or interview, he said today that Lindor's already called him multiple times. So, just imagine, not getting to work with your best buddy who works in the same field with you for 6+ years and having to kind of watch him on TV and talk to him only sparingly. And then to find out, hey, we just acquired that guy. He's coming here. Just imagine the emotion, flood, from Lindor and Baez. So I'm super happy for those two to get to play together, even if it is just for the rest of this season. That's got to spark a lot of happiness in both of those players, and they're 2 electric players. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, the most odd things that we saw today from the trade deadline. So Kyle Schwarber gets moved also from the Nationals to the Boston Red Sox. What makes that hilarious is you got Anthony Rizzo got traded to the Yankees. and then Kyle Schwarber goes to the Red Sox. So now this Boston and New York rivalry that's the biggest in baseball and all of this now has two former Cubs kind of in the middle of it facing each other. So I'm just ready for that next Boston and New York series and Rizzo and Schwarber to be like, how the hell did we end up here? Like this is wild. And then I think the trade that hurt my heart the most, maybe not the most, but the one that was the absolute just salt in the wound that didn't need to happen. Why did this happen? And then and also of course this happened today at midnight at 4:00 on the deadline. The news comes down, that John Lester, by the way, just as a throw-in, just for kicks and giggles to throw the salt in the wound to Cubs fans, he gets traded to the Cardinals. So I can't wait for him to pitch for the Cardinals against the Cubs here in a month or so, and he'll go 8 innings of 2-hit ball and give up nothing. So it'll be super fun. I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be great. I can't wait. So definitely a fun trade deadline. We'll call it that.
Baseball's boring.
Tade, how about this? I do believe you have some a little bit of NFL news for us from training camp.
Ladies and gentlemen, as per Colts history, legends, curse, another Colts quarterback has been injured. The great Carson Wentz, who we know is a healthy, well-built man, has gone down with a foot injury. Now, as they've said previously, it's just a foot injury. It'll be done in a day. It's a foot injury. He's going to be out a couple weeks. It's a foot injury. He's going to be out indefinitely and might need surgery. All within 24 hours. So what the Colts do, they downplay QB injuries and say it's fine. So Carson Wentz probably needs his foot amputated from all we know. Congrats, we're getting our pick back. That's the perfect picture, Michael. So Colts quarterback Carson Wentz is injured. Won't make it to the start of the season.
We don't know that for sure.
No, it's the Colts, Chris. We always say our QBs. Jacoby Brissett's knee's hurt. You know what? It's not hurting him anymore. He's fine. Dude plays like garbage when he comes back after football. Andrew Luck. His kidney's hurt. He's fine. He gets out. His legs hurt. Gets surgery. His ankle hurts. Retires. He needs neck surgery. He'll be back the next year. Releases him. He goes.
Stop.
So, Jacob Eason's the future. We should have gone Jameis Winston.
You be quiet.
You be quiet.
I'd rather go 0-16.
You mean 0-17?
0-17.
Fair. I'd rather go 0-100. I don't care.
Then Jameis Winston. Chris, no.
I don't care.
I am also on Chris's side here.
So as you can imagine, my day has been just fantastic.
Just a little. How much more can we get in there? Can we just? Is there anything left? We'll just scrape it all out.
Especially since they showed that video of him yesterday throwing an absolute dot.
Oh yeah.
To Zach Pascal, and then his foot's hurt.
Yeah,
of course.
I will say the most annoying and frustrating part of it is Todd, as you're right. The Colts, for whatever reason or another, they feel the need to like Kawhi Leonard their quarterbacks, and they're like this undisclosed mystery injury that nobody's ever had before, but he's okay, but he actually is going to miss the rest of the year. But just kidding, he might not have surgery, but we don't know. He might have to have surgery, and we're taking it day by day, and we don't really know what it is or to what degree. Like there's all this, it just always seems to be this cloud of mystery. And I just, it's frustrating to be like, there's no way 3 quarterbacks of this one team have all had freak weird injuries that we can't classify. Like, that just, I'm sorry. I refuse to believe that is the case.
Yeah.
I know Andrew Luck got the absolute hell beat out of him, and he probably did have weird things that nobody has ever seen before, because the man took 17,000 hits and still walked around and dove over the pile for touchdowns, and whatever, and threw his body literally on the line all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like Peyton Manning like never took a hit. That was his whole thing.
He
was like, I got happy feet, and yeah, I can just drop to the floor or throw the ball away. He was like, I'm not taking hits. And then all of a sudden, yeah, they're like, his neck's crooked and snapped, and he's gonna die, but he's not dead. But he'll never play again. But he can't stand up. But he can be, whatever. It was all like, no, what is it? What is this? And then now Carson Wentz, they're like, it's a foot injury. Okay, he might have surgery. We're not sure how long he's going to be out. If he misses time, it's not going to be too long. He might miss a couple games. He's going to go see a specialist. He might need minor surgery. It's a foot, or it's a bone and ligament injury, but we don't know what it is. Like, dude, oh my God, what is it? Or at the very least, I would say I would appreciate if they were just like, we don't know. And just leave it at that. Don't give me all this talk around the bushes BS crap that's, I don't know, just exhausting to listen to. Just exhausting. I will say, one, as of right now, I'm not hitting the panic button because we don't know. So not hitting the panic button. 2, the whole point of Chris Ballard putting this team together, the way he's put this team together, is we don't need the best quarterback out there to win. We have a roster. We don't have, you, me, and Tade out there trying to catch balls from Andrew Luck and somehow willing us to wins. Like, we'll be okay. We'll weather the storm. It'll be okay. And who knows? There is a chance, maybe not the biggest one, maybe not great, but there is a chance that they are actually just being overly cautious with it being the first week of training camp, and we haven't even hit preseason. We are 6+ weeks away from week 1. That's a lot of time to figure out what's going on, get it taken care of, and get him healthy. It's gonna suck. With me. There's time to get him okay. It's gonna suck that he's gonna miss, a lot of reps and things like that in practice. But
Chris, as my sister just pointed out, you get a cupcake. You get a cupcake. You get a cupcake. Yeah, I like you. You get a cupcake. I like you. Get a cupcake. Yeah, that's what I think of what you're just saying. Colts are lying to us. They always do. It's you skip over it. I don't believe
like I said, I do agree with you. It is very frustrating that they won't just come out and be like, here's what the injury is, because it's just exhausting. But until we actually hear something, like I said, I'm not quite hitting the panic button yet. And as Michael is so very clearly trying to point out, yes, run the damn ball. They'll be okay. They built this team to run the damn ball, to control the clock, to kind of beat you up physically and defensively. Like, they didn't put this team together to score 45 points a game. They put this team together they could, but that is not what they intended. They intended for this team to score 25 points and only give up 12 and only give up, 14. So
how are you going to score 25 points with Carson Wentz as your QB? And now he's injured. Now he'll get 0.
No, it's Easton season. Now we're going to score 50 points a game.
No, we trade
They'd
back.
Be sleeping on him.
We traded with Miami for Jacoby Brissett again.
God.
Not again.
Yes. That would just be hilarious. I would just laugh. I don't even know what I would do.
Uncle Phil comes out of retirement, strolling out on a stallion
with
his high school football team in tow.
Listen. Last thing, we got to wrap this thing up. If somebody's coming out of retirement to play quarterback for the Colts, you damn sure know who it's going to be, okay? So.
Yeah. Curtis Painter.
Oh, my God.
The GOAT.
All right.
The GOAT himself.
That's it. No picks of the week. No nothing. We're wrapping this thing up. We're done.
It's 1 a.m.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this special MCT podcast. Barry, and thank you too for bearing with me. I know it's just a little bit of a different vibe tonight, but I appreciate y'all being here. You did help lift my spirits on one of my darkest sports fan days, if not my darkest sports fan day. So I truly do, from the bottom of my heart, thank you too for being here and doing
We're
this.
laughing at you, Chris, not with you.
I appreciate it. It's fine. May I wish this day on both of you in the future.
Without the Colts then and the Pacers, what do you want that from? It already happened.
I don't know. Okay, for your Lakers or something. I don't know.
For the Lakers and for my Blue Jackets or something crazy like that.
That happened when we traded for AD, when we got rid of all the good players I liked.
Yeah, but you got something out of it and you won a title. Like, that wasn't a bad day. You were like, it's fine.
Yeah, with the mercenary team.
So this was like, imagine making that move and getting back, like, I don't know, some scrub like Ricky Rubio.
But you don't recognize. Oh, come on, man.
Rubio the GOAT. Rubio the GOAT.
Get out of here, Chris. How dare you? How dare you?
We should wrap this up.
All right. That will seriously do it for this week's MCT podcast. You guys have a great week, and we will see you next time.